Evening, welcome to York Street, home of National League Northside Boston United. And it might not be the last time we are here in the next few weeks, because the second round FA Cup replay against Rochdale of League One has of course thrown up the tantalising prospect of a third round tie at home to Newcastle United, no less. A big task then for either side, but a big prize at stake. There's supposed to be 5,000 in here tonight. It will be a raucous atmosphere. Obviously a momentous task if Boston can overcome a side from 3 divisions above. I'm going to nip inside for a quick chat with the home manager whilst these players complete their warm-ups in the cold of a Monday evening in deepest Lincolnshire. Rochdale obviously will be the favourites, but Boston will hope there's a chance here. Just time for me to nip into the home dressing room for a quick chat with the boss, Craig Elliott. How are you?
Yeah, excited, nervous, but just really looking forward to a good game.
What did you learn from the first leg? Obviously, goalless draw at Rochdale, so that's a feather in your cap. That gives everybody a little bit of belief, does it?
Yeah, I think that we're a good team. We did well, we deserved the replay. And like I said, just really looking forward to a good game of football tonight. Obviously, we're missing a couple of players. They've got a couple of players back, so the dynamics might change. But in general, just really looking forward to it.
It was already a big prize, wasn't it, to win a second round tie on replay on the telly, but now that it's Newcastle at home in round 3, I mean, that's the team talk, isn't it?
It is, I think, for both teams, to be honest with you. It's a massive incentive for Rochdale as well, but what a great incentive and really sort of exciting tie, and hopefully the best team wins. That's what should happen.
I believe this is a bit of a fortress, isn't it, York Street?
Yeah, we've not been beaten at home. Obviously, we've not come across a League One team yet, but obviously it's going to be an hard game, but anything can happen in the FA Cup, and like I said, I just hope our players do ourselves justice.
Do you play a bit of football? I think they do, so I'm hoping, from a neutral point of view, to see the ball on the floor.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. We've played good football this year, scored some good goals. I think people that went to the first game will testify for that. I thought both teams played good football. So, like I said, it's an FA Cup tie, and we want to do ourselves justice and get the ball down and put a good show on for the fans.
Yeah, hope you've got a nice manager's coat, because I've got everything I own on tonight. It's Parky out there. Thank you very much, Craig. Good luck.
Thank you.
And from Craig to the other side of the equation, Brian Barry Murphy, the Rochdale boss, is outside with Natalie Quirk.
Brian, second round of the FA Cup and another replay required. What has it been, do you think, about this competition?
It's been exceptionally difficult for us. Both games against both Wrexham and Boston were exceptionally tough affairs, and we're very grateful that we're still in the competition with a chance to pit our wits again tonight and hopefully give a good account of ourselves.
You've been hampered by injuries, of course. Do you have any better news on that front now?
Not really. We have slow progress in terms of players returning. We have Stephen Thewlis returning, and Aaron Wilbram's back tonight, and he starts after the untimely death of his mother last week. So that's a big thing for us to get him back into the squad, and he's one of our elder statesmen as such, and takes our average age to the roof because of his years. So we have little bits of comfort in that, but we've obviously a lot of players still missing, but because of that we get to play so many of our young players who we're extremely proud of, and gives them a unique opportunity in a great cup tie.
I suppose the prize after tonight, of course, the potential of Newcastle United at Scotland. Has that been difficult to ignore?
Yeah, we never ignore it. We had all this before when we drew Man United in the Carabao Cup, and instead of trying to ban talk, we just embraced it, and our lads loved it. And ever since the draw was made for the third round against Newcastle, they've been plenty of chat about what could happen if we managed to get through here. But that doesn't take away from how difficult tonight's game is going to be, and our lads are extremely excited about what is going to be a great cup tie.
All the best tonight.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
The Rochdale boss, Brian Barry Murphy, and it's an excellent atmosphere for a second round FA Cup replay. They are packed in here at York Street, the Boston faithful, thousands of them. There's a good few hundred from Rochdale as well that have made the trip all the way from Lancashire. And of course that big prize at stake with Newcastle coming to either here or Rochdale in round 3. All ages present, and indeed the chairman of Boston, David Newton, alongside myself and Grant Holt, of course was once a Rochdale player.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
We'll get that.
We'll get to that, don't worry. Excited? Nervous?
Very. Both.
Really?
Yeah. It's been
big night.
Very big night. It's been a busy period, 2 weeks, and we just hope we give a good account of ourselves tonight.
Yeah.
And, we look good on the cameras. It's been important for us to portray the club well.
Be honest, was drawing the first meeting the perfect score from a chairman's point of view?
Yeah. It has to be, doesn't it?
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Having had 5 away fixtures in the Cup, it's fantastic. We've had the longest away run of games since 1954 this season, so
wow.
To be back here is fantastic. The fans have travelled so well with us, so it's nice to come back and let the home fans see us as well. Big night for the football club.
Indeed, not least with what's on offer. That said, I believe the first meeting was pretty even. Boston gave a good account of themselves. Obviously, Rochdale are somewhat beset by injuries, but they can play, Boston.
Yeah, they can. I think Brian hit the nail on the head. I spoke to him this afternoon. He said, look, I ain't going to say we played badly. I ain't going to say anything bad about them. He said they're exceptional in the first game. They moved the ball around. The test is in behind. And he's looking at a tough test. But as he said, they need to be a little bit better. And he knows that in himself.
Yeah, you know the front man who's back in at Rochdale. We'll talk about him in a moment, Aaron Wilbraham. But obviously your boy Jordan Thewlis. Tell me how much of a local hero he is round here at the moment.
He's getting there.
Is he?
Yeah, he's getting there.
I mean, he's into double figures for goals this season. He's quick.
Yeah, very quick.
He will ask questions, will he not, of the Rochdale back four?
He will indeed, yeah. Our only concern is we've lost a couple of midfield lads. But, you know, we've got a decent squad this season. Massive ask for us. You know, these guys have got a really, really good League One side. And, you know, we played really well. We played to our strengths at their place. But we'll see how it goes. We'll give it our best.
Yeah, your old team, obviously Rochdale here tonight, but Norwich was where you played with Aaron Wilbraham, who obviously is back in after injury tonight.
Yeah, obviously back in, obviously with the death of his mum last week, and he met up with him this afternoon, had a chat, and look, he's a good old boy, he works hard, he'll do everything team. The one, like you said this afternoon, the one place he wants to be at the moment is on the grass. He wants to go out there, he wants to clear his head on the pitch, have a great game and try and get the win for Rochdale.
Yeah. I suppose the balance for your boys, for Craig and his team, is that fine line between using this atmosphere but not getting giddy with it.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think they've done well so far. You know, the atmosphere at Rochdale was great. The atmosphere at Kidderminster last week before, it was great as well. So they're not a bad set of lads. You know, they seem to be well grounded. Big ask, but you know, we'll see how we go.
Do you wish you were playing tonight, lad?
No. It's too cold. When you see the crowd, you want to, with that 5,000 in there, it'd be a great atmosphere. Listen, Rochdale's got to get at it early, because if this crowd start banging and jumping around, it's going to be a tough night.
Enjoy it if you can.
Thank you very much.
Wish you well.
Thank you very much.
Holty, of course, we'll have more from you in a moment, but we are fast approaching kick-off here at York Street. As you can see, they're packed in like sardines. Yes, it's cold, but this will warm the cockles if there's lift-off at Boston. Back shortly.
Substitute. Yep, for Bryce.
This winter on BT Sport, the big boys are back with titles to defend. And talking of titles, it's all to play for in the WSL. Girls got swagger.
Welcome back. This is the scene just in the last couple of minutes inside that home dressing room. Last few words of encouragement, advice, maybe inspiration, who knows? They're not far away. Of course, Rochdale went to Old Trafford and were very nearly the giant killers, but that man, Craig Elliott, knows that the boot's on the other foot tonight. Boston can really, really upset the apple cart by beating a League One team and, of course, set up a third-round meeting with Newcastle and Grant Holt. Boston like to play.
Yeah, they do. I said that it's not the typical side. They try and split like most teams do now, but they'll split, they'll move it around. But if it's not on, they'll put in the corner. They've got a lad who loves running behind and scoring goals. And it'll be a big test for them. I said, it's always a fine balance for the manager. You have to send Boston out with it too much, they get a little bit excited, or you need to calm down a little bit. So it's getting the balance right between the start for me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Big night in prospect, the atmosphere. I know we say these things, it's true, it's electric. It won't take much to set this off. Big time. As ever, you can download the BT Sport app if you haven't already done so from the website. That's available for you to watch live wherever you may find yourself. Rewind as the live action unfolds. This one may well reward your company. Really hope so. High time we heard from our commentary duo for this one. Braving a cold Monday night, but looking forward to it, I'm sure, in Lincolnshire. Kevin Davis and Paul Dempsey.
Thank you, Matt. Simply wonderful to be here amongst all this. And a very good evening, everybody. A case of the Pilgrims seeking their own promised land tonight. And Elliott's Boston also seeking to get one back for the non-league sides in this season's FA Cup. 9 have gone out so far in the second round. Rochdale know the routine, a very good cup record in recent years. Round 4 or better in 4 of the last 6 seasons, and still plenty of ties to the team that took Tottenham to a Wembley replay only 2 seasons ago, and that was a really freezing night. So Boston's goalkeeper, Peter Crook, has had a great season. He's conceded only once in 5 FA Cup ties so far. Domeko Duhaney, who featured in the first game against Rochdale, has returned to Huddersfield, but his replacement, Alex Penny, one of several very capable players in this Boston lineup, played in the Premiership in Scotland and in League One. In midfield, they're without Brad Abbott, suspended, and Andy Tanoj, the Albanian, with 3 on this cup run. He's injured. A return from Martin Wolford, now 34, a fine league career behind him, who played for a Sheffield United side denied only by Wayne Rooney at the death against Manchester United in a cup tie at Old Trafford 4 years ago. Jordan Thewlis, top scorer, with 14. Roberto Sanchez, the Rochdale goalkeeper, is on loan from Brighton. Luke Matheson made headlines when he scored at Old Trafford before he'd even turned 17. Callum Camps and Matty Doan, part of the great cup run story 2 years ago. And Ian Henderson got 6 in 7 on that run. He's still going strong, 10 so far this season in a side that's managed only 22 league goals, and the number 40 has a 40-year-old Aaron Wilbraham beside him. He's had even more clubs than Martin Wolford. And a warm welcome, warm being the operative word, to Kevin Davis.
Yeah, good evening. It's fair to say it's a wonderful atmosphere here. Both teams setting up similarly with that 4-3-3 formation, like to play wide. And we look at this width for Boston United with Rollins and Thewlis on this right-hand side. Can they set up the press, early press, and really put Rochdale on the back foot in this opening 5 or 10 minutes and really use this crowd to get behind them? Plenty of quality on show in those forward areas as well, with Knowles, Henderson, Wilbraham for Rochdale. Can these wide players get enough quality into them tonight?
Thank you, Kevin. It has all the spice and all the flavour of the great FA Cup occasions, I have to say. At last, Boston United with the chance to get their teeth into an FA Cup tie on home turf. Stamford, Sutton Coldfield, Hensford, Carshalton, Rochdale, first time, all away from home. They're unbeaten here this season, played 10, won 8, drawn 2. And Aaron Wilbraham, of course, a very handy addition for Barry Murphy and Rochdale for this occasion. Now, before we get started tonight, very appropriate that we remember Jim Smith, who passed away last week, aged 79, player-manager here from 1969 until 1972. He took them to the FA Cup third round in 71-72 when they met Portsmouth, a club that would, of course, also become a big part of his story in management. So a wonderful send-off from here at Boston, where it all began for Jim Smith. Blackburn, Birmingham City, Oxford United, Queen's Park Rangers, Newcastle, Portsmouth and Derby County all followed. Howard Wilkinson led the tributes. This is where he started as well, of course, but so many people, myself included, have very fond memories of Jim, and we're sending our thoughts and best wishes to his family and close friends. I guess a meeting with Newcastle in the FA Cup was written for him.
Yeah, and it'd be hard over the last 2 weeks for either of these teams, the managers, players, not to be thinking about this possible third-round cup tie against Newcastle at home. It's a huge incentive for both teams.
So here we go, Kevin, and by the direct route, the ideal first touch for Peter Crook. Well, if you don't shoot, you won't score, I guess. Little help on by Wafula. No Paul McShane, and as you've heard, the injury toll has been heavy at Rochdale in recent weeks. The centre-backs tonight, Owen O'Connell and Rhys Norrington-Davies. Barry Murphy's had to swap and change in that area. Whittle stepped onto it. Both full-backs for Boston have got a very good footballing pedigree. And that was well worth following closely. Rollins hit it, and I don't think it missed by very much, Kevin.
No, he's a player that I know fairly well from the time of Southport. We talk about left-hand side. Alex Whittle, another player that came to us already combining within a minute. He's only a few inches wide. Certainly lift this crowd there. He's a player that they certainly need to keep their eye on.
Roberto Sanchez has had only fleeting glimpses of the FA Cup story in his time in English football. Was on the bench for Brighton. I believe it was in the Derby County game last season. And we've heard from this man already tonight, Craig Elliott. He has John McDermott serving here as well as an assistant. McDermott had a great career at Grimsby, you might remember. Couple of cup tied for Elliott, one suspended and one injured. Just marking 2 years in charge here. Guess it's the biggest night of his managerial career in many respects, but they've already put their mark on this competition with the way they played at Rochdale, and front foot stuff here tonight, Kevin, isn't it?
Yeah, talk about their journey so far. All 5 games been away so far, so they'll be more than happy to get back here at home now, where they're so difficult to beat, as we know, this season, undefeated, and they start this game really well. They're on the front foot, trying to make life difficult for Rochdale early on.
Callum Camp's one of those who played at Wembley against Tottenham Hotspur. Spurs' temporary home at that period. And we know this Rochdale side do like to knock the ball around, but what do they like at set pieces? O'Connell is in there. Head and shoulders over most of the rest, and of course there is always Henderson and Wilbraham. There was a bit of old-fashioned Kevin Davis-like pushing and shoving there as the ball made its way in, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it was Camps who just got his feet all tangled up at this far post, but it's a lively start to this game. It's a real cup atmosphere around here.
And they know about the lively Thewlis. They've got to keep him quiet. He's very pacey. Flaggers stay down as Rochdale make a forward move. And again, they like to keep it on the deck. Camps again, and he threaded a nice ball in there. And it's dropped in. Henderson had a big part to play in it, and Peter Crook has conceded for only the second time in the FA Cup. The ideal start for Rochdale. Well, the good news for that young man is there's still a long, long way to go.
Well, it's certainly something that Peter Crook will not want to see back. See Henderson with the ball in initially to Callum Camps. He just plays the ball past, and I think he's looking to pick someone out there, and Peter Crook gets it all wrong, really. He doesn't really do anything convincing. Is he trying to tip it over the bar? He doesn't punch it away. It's a really poor mistake.
Well, 11 clean sheets for Boston United this season for Crook. I hope we haven't jinxed him.
Well, that'll just settle the nerves down. I think sometimes as the away team coming into these kind of games, the early goal does really settle you down and gives you a foothold in the game. Good start for Rochdale. We know they're the favourites coming into this game. Let's see how this Boston United team can respond.
I think what will please Barry Murphy and Rochdale the most is the way they played their way in, Kevin, to get the goal. And that's a bit more old-fashioned, that challenge on Henderson. And Henderson has stayed down. Now, the crowd have got mixed views as to whether Boston should actually put the ball out here. Penny does the right thing in the end.
You see it again, it's a really meaty challenge, isn't it? Luke Shields there, real firm favourite here. It's a really committed tackle.
Those two aren't talking to each other at the moment, Kevin, are they?
No, and we'll see Henderson. We know what a good player he is, really clever, intelligent movement. So Shields just putting an early marker down.
A Rochdale side that's been so short of goals in the league. Only 22 so far this season. That's barely won a game. And gifted a goal in the FA Cup tonight, very early on. Shields. Whittle looking to make some progress. Trying to give it to Rollins. Drop for Wafula. And there's Camps. Cleverly getting into position, trying to give Aaron Wilbraham a run.
You see Wilbraham just down this left-hand side. Henderson up the top and Matthew Dunn over on that right-hand side. We'll expect them to interchange throughout the course of this game.
Long from Crook. Wafula, the target, got a nice little touch on that. Thewlis. Fisted into a dangerous area. Wafula took it upon himself, and Rollins could see that it might drop for him.
Yes, first bit of good work down this right-hand side. Jordan Chillis puts the ball into a dangerous area. There's Wafula, gets his kind of cross shot away. Jay Rollins just coming in that far side. Just can't quite get on the end of it, does really well here. Just slightly off balance and slips as well. We've seen 2 or 3 players slipping on this pitch.
Yeah, it's very soft underfoot. We had a little walk on it earlier, Kevin. So much rain in this part of England a few weeks ago, of course. That's not the best from Sanchez, but he gets away with it. This is a weapon they're keen to exploit, clearly, the pace of Thewlis. Real head-scratcher of a goal to concede, wasn't it?
Yeah, we might be disappointed. He's got to stay with the team now, just clear their heads a little bit. You know, they've got a good record here at home, showed a lot of character game back into games. Got a really good spine to this team, so the good thing is, as you said, them posts come really early on in the game.
Johan with the throw. Whittle across. Platt. Wilbraham down this time. It's reached Thewlis. Just a sense that Boston are recovering now and beginning to build up ahead of steam, as they have to do tonight to make this hard for Rochdale. Goal kick.
Well, I think it's important for Boston to keep trying to put the pressure on. Jay Rollins, Thewlis on this right-hand side, keep pushing Keelhan back, and Matheson.
They really have a problem with Ian Henderson. He's not a man they'd want to lose, Rochdale. Mentioned the injuries to some senior players, McShane, McNulty, Ryan McLaughlin, and it looks like another one. Very, very early here. It's an old-fashioned cup night, and it was a very old-fashioned sort of challenge.
Yeah, you can see that. Shields just gets there slightly ahead of him, wins the ball, and it's the follow-through that causes the damage. Well, looks like his night's over.
They've had a little respite in the fixture calendar as well, Rochdale. But the games are going to come thick and fast, of course, in and around Christmas, starting with Burton Albion. I wonder if that's part of the thinking here. So on we go as they still debate it. It looks to me like he's finished for the night, Henderson.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to continue. It just looks like he's wanting to take the armband off and certainly play no more part in this game.
Thewlis. Wafula. Couldn't quite get the better of Keohane. Norrington Davis. That actually hit the flagpole, otherwise he was out in the street here at York Street. Not the quickest substitution of the season. There's been a few of those recently, but after a short delay, it will be Rakeal Pike, left out tonight by Barry Murphy, but he's going to have to play a full part here in the FA Cup.
Yeah, it's a good option for Barry Murphy to have. Really good, strong player. A little bit of pace, and he will hold the ball up and look to make those runs in and around Wilbraham as well.
Pike, a player whose own career has had way too many interruptions because of injury, of course. Well, does it shoot on sight? I've seen Wilfred a lot over the years playing in his various stops on the league circuit, and he's very capable of doing something like that. I guess at his age, Kevin, he's entitled to try it.
Oh, and why not? Ball set up for him nicely. 25, pushing 30 yards out.
Suspended for the first game, of course, Martin Wilfred. Now, let's see if this one is better. That's normal service from Roberto Sanchez. Very powerful header back by Shields. Shields isn't going to go home wondering about this tonight. He's going to give it everything for Boston. They're not really playing the offside very well, and Rochdale got in there again, as they did on the goal on that left side down. And I think, Kevin, it's actually on the other side where Whittle is maybe just dropping off a bit too quickly, but you're the expert.
Yeah, well, we know Whittle likes to push on, and he will leave gaps, and when they are winning the ball, Rochdale are looking really lively in that final third on the counter-attack.
This is an important moment for Boston. And they survive it. 2 against 2. It's a good ball up, a nice take down by Thewlis, who's got turned, and he's got help with Knowles. Thewlis decides to do it himself. Here's Whittle again, very far forward, and now Platt. Whittle keeps it going. Wilfred.
It's been a decent response from the home team. You see there when Whittle's putting that ball in, he's got 3 or 4 Boston players in the box, looking to try and find this equaliser.
1 or 2 strong ties to Bury, of course, in this Rochdale side. Barry Murphy, the manager, and indeed Owen O'Connell, who cleared that. Sad demise of Bury. Good claim by Sanchez. But he is struggling with his footwear. And he's got a long way to go when he goes over. He's 6'6". Of course, the demise of Bury has had serious consequences for Rochdale and all the others in that league this season. There's only 23 in it now, and Rochdale right now are 18th. Way too far down for comfort.
Yeah, it's been a difficult period for them. Lots of inconsistencies, and we see Camps there just running into back of Whittle. We talk about the injury problems they've had over the last 4 or 5, 6 weeks. It's been difficult for Barry Murphy. He's got a couple back tonight on the bench, and obviously Henderson, another concern for him.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. They lost 5 in a row before that victory over Rotherham. Whittle was sharp. Bird plays it long. That's fairly comfortable for Keohane, who returns it with interest, trying to turn around Penny. Got that just right. Was it Hamilton, Alex Penny, the right back, but his career rejuvenated by a spell at the Jamie Vardy Academy. And that's a great ball over the top, and it tries to give Knowles the option I was going to say to get the shot off, but the cover was very good from Rochdale, I must say. O'Connell saw the danger and got to it.
Yeah, as we expect, Boston, they will look to try and play football, but they do have that option of Dominic Knowles, who makes those intelligent runs in behind.
Ryan kept it. Shields again. Wilfred couldn't get the better of O'Connell. Once of Celtic, of course, Owen O'Connell, and a little touch of class every now and then.
It was just a heavy touch from him, just took the ball away from him. Like I say, it's a difficult surface out there.
Here's the grand old man, Wilbraham. Penny. No risk taken by Morley, played the way he was facing, gave it to O'Connell.
Here he's a big player for them, Aaron Morley. Maybe not a game this evening where they're going to get the ball down and play as much as they normally would. Playing directs if they can, hitting a few of those diagonal balls. Just trying to take the sting out of the game, mix the game up a little bit.
That's nice by Penny. Back to Whittle. Mentioned Rochdale's fine FA Cup record in recent years. It's not entirely uncharted territory, the FA Cup third round for Boston. Rollins ball in, wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's well defended again by O'Connell. Some interesting matchups already starting to develop in this game. Rollins going down that right-hand side against young Luke Matheson. Not managed to get forward much at all so far, Luke Matheson, in this game. That's down to the way that Rollins is trying to play on that front foot. As is Thewlis on this right-hand side. They will change during the course of the game as well.
Matheson got to him that time. Historic night in so many ways for Boston United. It may very well be the last ever FA Cup tie to be played here as they plan their move to Wibberton. Hopefully in time for next season, a new beginning. 4 previous appearances in round 3 of the FA Cup. Most recently they took Hartlepool to a replay some 15 years ago.
Yeah, I think they had a disappointing season last season, but they're feeling around this place. They've got a squad to really compete and challenge for promotion from the National League North this season. In the playoffs, as they stand with a couple of games in hand on some of the teams above them.
Quite a fall from grace, really, for them, wasn't it? You know, from league football, Kevin. Steve Evans' era. I guess their most famous FA Cup tie was all the way back in 1955-56 when they drew Tottenham Hotspur. They took 11,000 people on the train from Boston. More recently, Brian Clough and Derby County were taken to a replay. Johan with the throw. Wilbraham. Not many touches for Pike since he came on for Henderson. Camps. Rochdale on the move again. That sat up nicely on a little divot to be hit, and he did really get a hold of that. Pike. Morley. Tidio's over in possession. On by Ryan is a good ball. Matheson made a great run, the young right back. Boston breathe again.
First bit of really good play we've seen from Rochdale. Ryan gets in that ball, and it's a really good run from Luke Matheson. He's just trying to pull it back, and there was Callum Camps making those runs in from this left-hand side. Trying to get on the end of the ball. They look dangerous when they get in and around the box, Rochdale.
Learned his trade under the previous incumbent at Rochdale, Keith Hill. Brian Barry Murphy. Going his way so far. Just that little touch of class again from Camps. Norrington Davis. One for Pike to fight for. Wilbraham was on the scene so quickly, wasn't he? Knows where to be and when. It's going to be a good duel, as you said, Kevin. They're starting to build up now, these confrontations. Penny against Wilbraham. Young Matheson getting down the right suddenly for Rochdale against Whittle, sending him back if he can.
And it's, you know, obviously Boston wants to progress and get through to that huge tie in the third round. This is a great experience for some of those young players as well, against these league players and lots of Wilbraham, etc.
Gohan has won the free kick against Penny. So Doan and Morley discuss the options. In by Doan. They made a real mess of that, Boston, and so very lucky not to go further behind.
You can see Penny just apologising there, just misjudges the flight of this ball.
Watch O'Connell running across the penalty spot here, Kevin.
Yeah, it's a poor ball, isn't it? But it's a mistake there from Penny, and there was O'Connell. You know, say Crook makes the save and makes up for that earlier error.
Rollins. Whittle ran outside him. Camps had it clear. Matheson can't get to it. Might have conceded a free kick then.
Again, it's good play down that left-hand side. Rollins showing a nice piece of quick feet there. Just outdoes Matheson. It's a real dangerous area now.
Rochdale inviting a little bit of pressure on themselves suddenly. Dominic Knowles has been pretty quiet so far, but he's showing the taker exactly where he wants it. The taker is Wolford. Sanchez has put up a little wall here. Taken by Wolford. O'Connell. Great header.
Yeah, he's done well so far, hasn't he? You know, O'Connell at the back there, 2 or 3 really important headers right in the heart of that defence.
Good recovery by Wafula. Do you think Boston have really got into their stride, their rhythm as they would want to tonight just yet, Kevin?
I think it's difficult when you go behind so early, especially at home with the home fans and the expectation. So I think they've kind of stayed in the game. They've had 1 or 2 moments. They've shown that they have got the ability to get down both flanks with the quality they have out there. I think when they have got into those situations, just the quality of the ball in has not been quite so good so far.
Bird. Pierce Bird's on loan from Notts County. Again, as Kevin says, the precision's not quite there. They might pay for all that tonight. Here goes Keohane. And that wasn't far away, was it? Doan was onto it, keeps it. Second one half cleared by Bird, and Matheson saw his moment. Now it's Wafula for Boston. Eventually there is a touch here for Knowles. Been quiet so far tonight, and that's a really good ball. Rochdale stretched for one of the few times so far tonight, and a little bit of pressure on the centre-backs. Norrington Davis came across. He is pacey, Thewlis, and he's the one they've got to watch for, surely, Kevin.
Oh, yeah, it's a wonderful run. You see there, I think it's good defending in the end from Norrington Davies. Used his strength well. I think it's just the surface there. Thewlis is slipping more than being shoved. It's the timing of the run and the pass from Knowles is really good.
I think Knowles would like a bit more involvement in it, and it might help Boston if they could get him in there a bit more.
As I say, they've just changed flanks at the moment. It's something that Craig Elliott will do. Just giving those fullbacks something different to think about.
Shields got to it somehow, laid off by Knowles. It's a stretch for Rollins, as Kevin says, he's come to the right side, Rollins, and here's Penny. Crowd would like to see him squeeze up with it here, but he puts the brakes on. Platt back to him. No foul by Morley. Camps. O'Connell. Space opened up for O'Connell. Oh, she fizzed a great ball out there to Keohane. That's not a bad one either, but well read and well held, Peter Crook. It's really his first season here as the #1 in goal, and George Willis, who has been the first choice here for a few seasons, now relegated to the bench. Sideways by Wilfred. Whittle. Platt. Matheson, the right back, has come out, and he didn't really do much to deny Thewlis the room then. That switch looks promising, doesn't it, Kevin? But they've got to get into shape at the other way now. That might run away on this pitch for Pike. We know he's got very, very good pace, and he fancied his chances then.
Yeah, he did really well initially. Just got a little bit too excited. Yes, the ball's bobbling around a little bit. They're showing one or two signs that they can counter really well here, Rochdale.
Continuing the FA Cup replay story tomorrow night on BT Sport with Plymouth against Bristol Rovers, BT Sport 1. And in the Premier League, from midday on Saturday, Everton against Arsenal.
Here we see Rafula. He's been the main target from some of the goal kicks there, been the most advanced from that midfield three. Just draws the foul there from Wilbraham.
Wolford with the free kick. Rochdale have squeezed up quite a long way here. Looking for his captain, who got a very good knockdown, but Platt couldn't get on the end of it.
Yeah, things haven't just quite dropped for Boston so far. You have to give credit to Rochdale. The way they've defended so far, they've been really solid at the back there.
Certainly worked his way up to a night like this, Craig Elliott. Shaw Lane, Ossett Town, Glasshoughton Welfare and Kellingley, his previous jobs. Penny looking for Wafula again. It's another lovely take by him. Help around the corner to Knowles. Now it's Wilfred. Still got that silky left foot, hasn't he? Rollins. Kept at bay by Keohane.
Yeah, again, it's just not quite had that end product so far for Boston United. They're showing good energy, getting midfield runners into the box and joining Knowles, and Julius coming from that far side as well. Just need a bit more quality in that final third.
So 3,700 up to last night, and as we heard from the chairman, something over 4,000 in the crowd here tonight at the Jakeman's Stadium.
It's a great platform for the club to draw new supporters here from around Lincoln and those kind of areas as well. Young supporters moving into the new stadium as well.
Well, that's tipped over the top by Sanchez. Wolford was so quickly onto it, and Rochdale really making their own problems then.
Again, it's just one long ball. They compete really well, and there's Martin Wolford gambling. Just drops the shoulder, gets his shot away on that left foot. Goalkeeper not too sure. Sanchez there, whether it's on target or not, but takes no risks.
Knowles has been quiet, but he's a man with a goal in him. Ball back in play already. And again, Rochdale making a bit of a hash of clearing their lines here. Rollins. Matheson getting shrugged off it and getting pushed around a little bit, the youngster perhaps tonight. Certainly a test for him.
And certainly a player that's burst onto the scene, didn't he, with that goal at Old Trafford.
So when you're young, you know, you just don't think anything bad's ever going to happen to you, do you?
He seems to have got a really good temperament, Luke Matheson.
Mr. Cool. You know, the day after that Old Trafford game, he was sitting at A-level psychology.
I think we talk about the English players coming through and the academies and the injuries that Rochdale have had has allowed 6, 7, I think there was 9 players in the squad at Rotherham a couple of weeks ago, so they've been given the opportunity. He's certainly a player that's taken it.
Forward by Ryan. Jimmy Ryan, in his young days at Liverpool, twice won the FA Youth Cup. O'Connell, little help on by Wilbrahim. He knew exactly what he was doing with that. O'Connell inviting Sanchez to come for it. Young Spanish goalkeeper on loan, and I'm not sure all the communication is all that good back there.
No, it was a bit of a hopeful ball forward. I think it just didn't bounce the way that O'Connell anticipated, and did it just bounce up and catch his arm? It did look like it from where I was standing up here in the gantry. I'd say not the greatest of communication between him and Sanchez at the back there.
Morley. One teenager trying to find out another, but it's the old man who spears it down the line. Great ball by Wilbrahim. Matheson has had a really good turn of foot to get to it, and he might yet get on it. He does get on it. Boston can't clear their lines this time. Initial shot seemed optimistic, I must say, from Ryan.
You can see Matheson stayed up on that right-hand side, playing almost like a right winger at times, but certainly showed a lot of pace there up against Rollins as well, who's certainly not short of pace himself.
Morley, crowded out of it by Knowles. Wafula. Thewlis back out to the right side. Wafula offered himself down the outside. Was enough for Barry Murphy and Rochdale, of course, in that replay against Wrexham.
I think he'd be fairly happy with what he's seen so far from his team. He knew it was going to be a difficult place to come with this crowd, and that early goal certainly gave him, certainly relaxed his players and gave him a platform to really try and grow into this game. He expected to have a difficult game here. He knew that from the first game.
Whittle, the left back, also had a spell in Scotland. He was at Dunfermline and was part of a very good season for them. They finished second in League One. Norrington Davis, former Sheffield United man, Norrington Davis. Plenty of competition, wasn't there, for left-footed centre-backs at Sheffield United. Sanchez goes over again. I think it would be more surprising if he does keep his feet when he goes after some of those.
I think it's a certain point that if any balls are played back to him, the likes of Knowles and Rollins and Thewlis should be closing him down and trying to put pressure on him. Just helps to lift the crowd as well and trying to increase that pressure on the away team.
Platt. Somebody shouted out, "Get in the mixer."
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one. That I think maybe someone's had a word to the referee, said we would like to have those kind of free kicks rather than playing an advantage, and it gives you the opportunity to send Shields and Bird up to really cause problems for Rochdale.
And Rochdale squeeze out a long way again. Wolford takes it. O'Connell won it once more. Platt did keep it. Knowles denied by Camps. Boston ball nonetheless. Whittle.
Quite well, haven't they, in keeping those second balls alive. Just can't seem to break through those lines of Rochdale so far. They've defended really well and been resilient so far. 37 minutes on the clock almost. So Sanchez has not really had too much to do so far in this game.
Wolford. A lot of people wanted him to pull the trigger there. I think there was a little shove by Thewlis. Won't get away with that.
There's a few years between those two, isn't there? Just a little clip at the heels there from Thewlis.
Flick around the corner by Ryan, met with a firm response. Boston win the ball back. Rollins has it. Platt. Whittle fancies himself against Matheson here.
There's good play. Alex Whittle there, just putting the burners on. Looks to get forward at every opportunity, does Whittle. Again, gets into that byline position, can't pick out one of his teammates. 4 or 5 Boston players once again making it into the box.
Wafula and Knowles are obvious targets here. Wafula's won a lot of stuff in the air already tonight. Wolford to take it. Sent back by O'Connell, but not very far out. Goalkeeper's ball that had to be. Sanchez equal to it, but as mentioned, you know, he's 6'6", basketball sort of level, really, isn't it?
There's a good take from him. Under a little bit of pressure there.
And although he's new to the FA Cup, that's a very sporting gesture.
Yeah, I think it was Wolford, wasn't it? Competing with him, I think. Was it Shields? Yeah, it's comfortable take in the end. Like I say, that's what you expect from your goalkeeper who's 6'6".
Looking ahead to our coverage over Christmas time, the 28th of December, Burnley against Manchester United in the Premier League. That's an evening kick-off that day on BT Sport 1. And I can't read out every single one, obviously, but BT Sport bringing you all 10 games from the New Year's Day round of fixtures for the first time ever. There are 9 on the 1st of January, culminating with Liverpool, Sheffield United on the 2nd. Sky and BT TV customers can download the BT Sport app and flick between all the games and watch all the goals as they go in with our goal alerts. Wilfred. Platt. Beat Shields then. Camps. O'Connell. Norrington Davis. A little look over the shoulder by Camps to see what was developing, and it's the run on the outside here by Keohane. Crook's had a long time tonight to think about that early mishap, hasn't he? Ryan onto it, forging a path down the middle. Wilbrahim, cross.